Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining us. This is for Friday, March 22nd, 2024. Quite a bit to go over today. However, I wanted to start with mentioning that we have the fortune of having Axiom building us a Discord channel. And so I want to put this forth and ask if you would be interested in having perhaps half an hour or so once a week open chat to where I can ask questions or basically putting it forward. So if you have an interest in that, please leave it in the comments below. As it is now, you're welcome to come into the Discord server. He's built something great there, so I'd like to see that build. We'll leave a link for you, and I'll be in off and on if you have any questions or anything else that I can help with, and also anything you would like us to pass on either to Craig. There's a lot of great people in there. So moving on with the markets, we are in high risk territory, the MMRI, just below 275. So since the rate decision speaking Federal Open Market Committee by Jerome Powell, we've had an interesting divergence happening here. What am I talking about? We've had an increase in the relative strength of the dollar as well as the 10-year yield. That should have put pressure on stocks. However, stocks in the market increased. They've come in a boom. Right now, we're in the green. We are watching the futures are also in the green with pressure on gold and silver. So, with the volatility index climbing and out of the fear trade, we are in extreme greed levels. So, what does this mean? There is farther to run into this greed territory. However, the higher we go, the more likely it is to have the occurrence of a black swan event. And the reason is it's not so much that it's an extreme occurrence that kicks these off, but rather the position. So if we've got the boat, so to speak, everyone on one side of it, it's making it extremely volatile and extremely fragile and open to anything causing this move. So, kind of still watching this, I just want to make you aware of this. For today's Friday, we don't have much on the calendar other than Jerome Powell speaking again at 9 a.m. This is prior to US market open at 9:30. But we'll see if there's anything significant that he says there. Not expecting it, but you never know. So, with banking in the economy, something interesting. The US is urging Ukraine to not strike the Russian oil refineries. So, while the US is sanctioning Russia for the oil, trying to hurt their economy, this also shows the dependence. It's at a level for Europe that they cannot afford for these to go down, basically. So, watching that. We've also got Canadians receiving unemployment benefits up 18%. This is significant. I spoke about this yesterday, the silent, basically, revolts brewing there with the unrest. So, with this fear and greed up, we also had Micron Technologies yesterday. Just want to mention a few stock specific things that happened. So, they surged 14% because they're basically in the chip sectors. We've also had the manufacturing numbers jumped while services declined. So basically, less labor trying to put the output, and we'll talk more about GDP in a moment. So we've got the initial jobless claims declined by 2,000, but we're going to watch those revisions come out because they are coming. So, few stock specific things with Reddit. They jumped on their IPO debut. They've got a few things happening with them, and normally the first move, there's a saying, the first move is usually wrong. And that just means that it's going to correct. So, super correction is what would be the historical move with this. We'll see what happens. With Apple, they've been in the news in a major negative way. Department of Justice now is filing an antitrust lawsuit. Basically, that are saying that they were cutting down crypto apps and other apps, building their own monopolies. So anything that would uh, compete with their powers, they are penalizing them. And so now they're being investigated. So, along with that, we did have the timing of a senator selling all of his stock 2 weeks prior to the lawsuit started, of which they were involved in. Again, I think this is criminal, but will never be punished. So, another story with Apple that is coming out is there is a flaw in their M series chip that they have discovered that could allow access to the encrypted data either on their MacBook devices or with the confidential encryption keys. So Apple has been kind of notable for their securities. This is major hit to them. We'll see how it affects them today. So with Boeing, another one that's taken a lot of beating lately, we've got Japan Airlines is replacing a good portion of their fleet, and they have ordered 42 new aircraft split between Airbus and Boeing. So that's a boom to them. I think they are kind of going to hit a recovery phase. I was expecting 165 and the price didn't hit that. It seems like it's bouncing at least temporarily off the 185 mark, but we'll see. So we had Nike warning of a revenue dip, so they got hit with their stock yesterday as they've got more competition coming in at a lower cost. So that's what's going on with them. We had Disney, they're taking a hit because they're getting management issues again, and then also losing revenue in with their streaming. So we'll watch them. We've got Wendy's delivering food by drone. So I wanted to know if you would be interested in getting your food delivered by drone. I think that's whole interesting new sector here, and I have my own thoughts about it. Would like to hear from you in the comments if you would. We have FedEx stock jumping 13% after the company raised guidance and cut their spending. So, quick note on this. This on the surface appears positive. However, they cut their spending, they cut their employment. They told a lot of their pilots to go work and apply for American Airlines specifically, which I thought was odd. However, uh, they're not expecting more business. They're raising guidance in their revenues, but they're not expecting more in business. Why do I say this is significant? Because we look at it as an indicator for the economy. If there's more goods moving, more shipping, that would be a positive, but that's not the case here. So, little caution on that. So, we have this story about immigration fueling United States economic growth. That's not sustainable. This is similar to the production of weapons being positive for growth. It's increasing the GDP, but it's on tax dollars. So all of this is being funded. So while it looks good temporarily, it's going to eat in the long run because this is, it's not actually growing production, it's simply increasing debt. So, short word, kind of unrelated, but it is. California home insurance meltdown. State Farm now cutting 72,000 policies in California. So, these people cannot get insurance any longer. This means if you cannot get insurance, it's difficult to sell your home because people cannot get mortgages. You can't get mortgages, it's going to hit the real estate sector. And this is also, in the long run, for insurance, highly inflationary. So that also will hit the housing market. So moving forward off the markets, kind of, we've got talking about armed forces, the recruitment levels, our national security crisis. Well, if you can't defend your country, you can't defend your borders, you can't recruit. So what happens with NATO defenses? Not getting support there, a lot of issues with this going forward. And then we've got Ukraine making fresh move to draft more soldiers. So first, they dropped the age range, the age restrictions. Now they're abolishing the quote unquote fit for limited military service category. So basically looking for anybody. If you have a pulse, they're going to recruit you. So all of this push and what's going on, there's two stories depending on which propaganda you read. But we've got Russia preparing for all-out war with NATO. Could happen sooner than possible. There's a lot of movement going on right now. We've also got China building their military on a scale not seen since World War II. We've got an admiral warning us about this. So This is all on the back of basically Macron and others saying that we would put boots on the ground in Ukraine. So they're pushing this. We're going to move off of that. So, news story back domestically in the United States. The FBI is reportedly harvesting publicly available weapon information. What is this? So, on Amazon or on anywhere you post Craigslist, they're basically using recognition, artificial intelligence, and anybody that posts on either X platform, Twitter, they are taking all of these photos of you posting weapons. They're also talking about nudity. They're building a database. So this is basically an unofficial registry. So anybody posting their stuff on here, which I'm not sure why you would in the first place, but they are gathering all of this information. Last couple of things. So water, again, I know I bring this up frequently because it's a huge issue. Second need we have after air is water. And we've got two of these stories coming up right back to back, talking about European trying to secure clean water for the French Caribbean and then also disappearing in Mexico. So whole cities looking to go out of water. So secure a source for you. And I just want to say a quick note here. This guy, Yuval Noah Harari, they say everybody has an opposite in this universe, and I believe I've probably found mine. I don't really care for this guy at all. He believes that freedoms are not human right. And when he's talking about this actual cost of preventing climate breakdown and the carbons, he's talking about humans, that we need to reduce humans. So just his entire narrative goes against everything that I believe in. I don't know, just thought I would bring this up. I'll probably go over some of the things that he's talking about in the future. Very dystopian. So I wish you all a wonderful day in general, a green trading day. And until I see you again, my friends, stay free.